Hello, this is Myra Elaine on the Bind Space Channel. Happy Sabbath. We are reading from the Old Covenant, specifically the Torah, and we are in Leviticus chapter 25, and I believe we are on verse 23. Restoration of property. Now, this is talking about, beginning chapter talked about the Sabbath. And then we talked about the Jubilee, which is every 50 years. So these are things of restoration that are done every Jubilee. And this is mainly written for the Jewish people. But I think the concepts in this chapter of restoration, like allowing your land to go fallow every 7 years if you're growing crops, helps the land rest and replenishes it. And these are good concepts to go by in life, except this chapter talks about slavery. And slavery is something that we don't have anymore, technically. There are situations that are very much like slavery. And if you are in a situation with someone that has something over your head, like if you're in domestic arts and you're a live-in person and you're not here legally, that's pretty much slavery. And that's one of the reasons I always felt the immigration law need to be redone, not to punish the live-in person, but to punish the people that are actually keeping people in those oppressive situations and not following the laws like minimum wage and pretty much doing what they want to those people. And those types of people are never the ones that are punished or arrested. It's just like in a bad situation between a man and a woman. The woman's usually punished. That's what's historically happened. So I think we need to rewrite the laws to punish the employers, not the employees, in those situations. That's the most, of course, in places like Libya and other places in the world, they really do have slavery still. And there's different types of slavery all over the world. I don't think that there is any slavery in Israel at all. I could be wrong. Because of the domestic servant situation, there could be a case by case basis for things, but overall, I don't believe there is. And but I think these are good laws to follow in general, in forgiveness towards people to maybe labor or money that they owe you. So let's start in verse 23. Your land must not be sold on a permanent basis because you do not own it. God owns the land. You are like foreigners who are allowed to make use of it. So God literally gave the promised land to the Jews, but it was under a covenant. They were supposed to do certain things like worship him. They started worshiping foreign gods. So they started having invasions. If an Israeli becomes poor and is forced to sell his land, his closest relative is to buy it back. A man who has no relative to buy it back may later become prosperous and have enough to buy it back himself. So the land was divided not only among, given to the Jews as a promised land. Each tribe had a certain area. Each family had land. In that case, he must pay to the man who bought it a sum that will make up for the years remaining till the next year of restoration. when he would, in any event, recover his land. But if he does not have enough money to buy it back, he remains under the control of the man who bought it until the next year of restoration. So there's a window here that the family can buy back the land. In that last year, it will be returned to its original owner. Now, they call these people like bondsmen that are able to buy back the land, the guarantor, the next living male relative, even with the caring of women that who've lost their husbands, all kinds of different aspects to the year of restoration. If a man sells a house in a walled city, he has the right to buy it back during the first full year from the date of sale. But if he does not buy it back within the year, he loses the right of repurchase, and the house becomes permanent property of the purchaser and his descendants. It will not be returned in the year of restoration. But houses in walled villages are to be treated like fields. The original owner has the right to buy it back, and they are returned in the year of restoration. However, Levites have the right to buy it back at any time, then property in the cities assigned to them. So the Levites weren't allowed to own agricultural land or fields, but they did have dwellings. If a house in one of the cities is sold by a Levite and it is not bought back, it must be returned in the year of restoration. I wouldn't be buying any land in Israel anytime soon, especially in the past, because the houses which Levite own in the cities are their permanent property among the people of Israel. But the pasture land around the Levite cities shall never be sold. It is property forever. So God owns the land. Loans to the poor. If a fellow Israelite living near you becomes poor and cannot support himself, you must provide for him as you would for a hired man, so that he can contribute to live near you. Do not charge him any interest, but obey God and let your fellow Israelite live near you. Wow. If all nations did this for their fellow citizens, wouldn't that be great? Do not make him pay interest on the money you lend him, and do not make a profit from the food you sell him. This is the command of the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt in order to give you land of Canaan and be your God. If a fellow Israelite living near you becomes so poor that he sells himself to you as a slave, you shall not make him to do work of a slave. He shall stay with you as a hired man and serve you until the next year of restoration. At that time, he and his children shall leave you and return to his family and to the property of his ancestors. The people of Israel are the Lord's slaves, and he brought them out of Egypt. They must not be sold into slavery. Do not treat them harshly, but obey your God. If you need slaves, you may buy them from the nations around you. You may also buy children of the foreigners who are living among you, such as children born in your land may become your property, and you may leave them an inheritance to your sons, whom they must serve as long as you live. But you must not treat any of your fellow Israelites harshly. Suppose a foreigner living with you becomes rich while a fellow Israelite becomes poor and sells himself as a slave to the foreigner or to the member of his family. Well, do the foreigners have to follow these rules? After he is sold, he still has the right to be bought back. One of his brothers, or his uncle, or his cousin, or another of his close relatives may buy him back, or if he himself earns enough, he may buy his own freedom. He must consult the one who brought him and must count the years from the time he sold himself until the next year of restoration. So foreigners are living in Israel at this time. Uh, well, they were in the desert at this time. But after they came to the land, the foreigner would have to follow the rules in the promised land and must set the price for his release on the basis of the wages paid a hired man. He must refund of a purchase price according to the number of years left, as he had been hired to an annual basis. This master must not treat him harshly. If he is not set free in any of these ways, and he and his children must be set free the next year of restoration. An Israelite cannot be a permanent slave, because the people of Israel are the Lord's slaves. He brought them out of Egypt. He is the Lord your God. So the land belongs to God, and the people belong to God. And you cannot own the land. You could have it titled to you. You can have it deeded to you. You can pass it down in your family. But ultimately, the land is God's. And that's why you follow the rules. And people, you cannot own people. They are God's people. And if in modern times you are under, I guess modern slavery is like having large medical bills, having high interest rates with credit cards, having your wages garnished. Those are ways that you can be enslaved in modern times. And I do believe, I'm not sure about this, I haven't checked on this in a while, but I think like things like bad debts go off your credit rating every 7 years. Is it still 7 years? I mean, that's like a biblical rule. So a lot of our rules, even though the situations are different, the way people are enslaved now is different for the most part. There are times and ways of forgiveness. We do also have bankruptcy laws. I don't know what state they're in at this point, since things have been deregulated and things, consumer protections have been taken away in a lot of areas. I don't know where that stands now. But in general, there has been ways of forgiveness in the American society too. But since things have gotten weird out here, I don't know. I heard last week that people all of a sudden in droves decided not to pay their bills. And I don't know what to think about that. I don't know if that looks like an honorable way of rebellion and revolution, or if that's just being irresponsible. But there seems to be no way out of these situations these days, more and more. And that does kind of look like slavery to me. So at some point in time, there has to be some kind of mercy given to some people, especially when they owe billionaires and they're living in a car. That situation the way things have become in America now, there needs to be some kind of relief for the people instead of more and more laws being made to protect the billionaires. But because this is looking more and more like modern slavery, and I pray for those that are in bad situations, and it's just not a fair society, and it's been brutal. We need to fight for human rights. But I hope you all think about how you treat others that owe you things in personal situations, maybe even in business situations. If the tables were flipped, wouldn't you want some relief? Do you want them to hate you? Do you want to have a workable relationship with those around you and show a little bit of kindness and mercy and forgiveness towards others? Something to think about. You all have a wonderful and blessed day.